Hey, what's up, guys? Andres17 here once again with another video. Okay, so today I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and that fourth overall pick. What should the Falcons do at the number 4 spot? Okay, so I've had some inner debating. I don't even know if that's a word, but I've had some debating internally about this. And it's a little bit more complicated, I think, than what people assume it is. Okay, so at first, obviously, the rumor going around right now is that Trey Lance is the player the GM wants to pick, while the coach wants to keep Matt Ryan in Atlanta and work with him. So I did some research, and these are the numbers that I came up with. And this is, going to be an open question towards the end. So here are the numbers. The Atlanta Falcons, last year, the rushing, they were ranked 15th in rushing. In passing, they were ranked 15th in passing. And offensive, as far as our offensive line goes, they were ranked 21st on their offensive line. Okay, so I got to look at that. I got to see that and say, okay, they had a bad offensive line. And that affects everything. I mean, anything on offense, that completely affects everything. It affects rushing. It affects passing. So I had to take a look at that. And the defensive end, they were ranked 29th on the defense. So they were trash on defense. As bad as they were on offense, they were even worse on the defensive end, 29th. Okay, so then I said, okay, let me take a look at Matt Ryan. What was Matt Ryan able to work with, or what was he able to do with what he had to work with? Okay, so Matt Ryan's QBR was 16th overall. His QBR was 16th among all quarterbacks, while he was ranked the number 14th quarterback overall with a QBR of 94.5. His stats look like 25 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, that's not great, but that's not bad. And then I have to take into account, okay, obviously he had a bad offensive line. So that obviously had to impact his performance. There's no way around that. That affects a QB's performance. Like if they don't have a good offensive line, then you're depending on the quarterback being mobile. And Matt Ryan is not mobile. He's a pocket quarterback. So you need a good offensive line. Maybe not great, but at least good. And 21st is not good. So then I said, okay, the QB position is really a position that if you don't have an elite quarterback, I believe your chances of winning the Super Bowl are so slim, right? So that's what it's all about, right? It's not about making the wild card, the playoffs, the conference championship. No. The reason why you do this is to win the Super Bowl. That's the only reason you do this. That's the only reason you play this game, is to win the top prize. So I said, okay, let me look at the last 10 QBs to win the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if this is the last 10 QBs, but it's definitely the last 10 QBs to win it. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways. Okay, so obviously Tom Brady won it last. And then it was Patrick Mahomes. And then you have Nick Foles. And then you have Peyton Manning. And then you have Russell Wilson. And then you have Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Ben Roethlisberger. So what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the last 9 QBs. The last 9 QBs to win the Super Bowl in order. And obviously Tom Brady makes up for a bunch of those. But, okay. So apart from, the elite quarterbacks that I would say on this list, you have Nick Foles, who's not elite. Eli Manning, who's not elite. Ben is a tweener. He's almost like Matt Ryan, right? He's not elite per se, but he's also not a scrub. Like he's borderline elite, right? This is what Matt Ryan is. He's like borderline elite. So then I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, that tells me that you just need an elite quarterback. Like, if you want to have maximum opportunities to win the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, like, you need a special talent at the quarterback position. You just do. And Matt Ryan, like, I'm not sure if he's not. I would have considered him a special talent. I would say his numbers look great. You know, everything that you'd want in a quarterback, like, you pretty much see it in Matt Ryan as far as, you know, a pocket quarterback that throws, and his numbers look good. But is he really going to give you that extra, you know, push? You know, the defense is 29th. So even if you draft, right, defensive picks through this draft and, you know, throughout the draft this year, like, you're gonna need them to all hit for that defense to all of a sudden become elite, right? And chances are you're not gonna hit on all those picks. So chances are the 29th overall defense improves to maybe like 22nd or 21st, right? And then you're gonna have to wait another year in the draft to improve the defense, and then so forth. By that time, Matt Ryan's 36, 37, 38. Once you have an elite defense, now he's 38 years old. Julio is going to be 34, 35 years old. Like, you know? So if you go on the defensive end, again, that's like on the long-term haul. You know, there's just no way around it. And it's like, okay, well, let's try to improve the offensive line. Yeah, you can improve the offensive line. You get some good offensive linemen this year. Again, you're going to need them to all hit. What happened last year? The Falcons drafted offensive linemen on the right side, and they didn't really hit how they thought they were going to hit, right? You know, because they're 21st, right? They drafted offensive linemen, and they were still 21st. So they didn't pan out, right? That's the thing here. Something like these picks are not all going to pan out. So you just really got to look at yourself and say, okay, what is the best decision for this team? Do we really have a shot to win the Super Bowl? Because that's what it's all about, right? It's about winning the Super Bowl. Nobody remembers, hey, we made the conference championship 3 times. No one remembers that. Hey, we made the playoffs like 8 years in a row. They were all wild cards, but hey, that's the streak there. No one remembers that stuff. They remember when you win the Super Bowl. I want to say Matt Ryan has had his chance to win the Super Bowl. And apart from that amazing year, that offensive juggernaut year in 2016 with Kyle Shanahan, who just unlocked Matt Ryan and made him elite, if I take that away, I am not seeing it for Matt Ryan. And it hurts me to say that because I've seen him play throughout his whole career with the Falcons, and he's not old at 35, but I also know that he's not getting any younger, and it's not like he's an elite talent like Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, where they were elite, and you can handle a couple years of decline because they're just so good, right? Matt Ryan is like borderline elite, and then once you start declining from there, then you just start becoming a regular, Joe type of quarterback. So I have to take a look at that. And having said that, although the Falcons could improve on the offensive line and the defensive end, I'm going to go ahead and say that Matt Ryan has had his opportunity, has had an elite weapon as Julio Jones. Like, he's had arguably, Julio Jones was the best receiver in the game for at least the past, 5-6 years. He's been the top dog. And, they also they also drafted Calvin Ridley, right? So it's not like he's not had a weapon. It's like he's had weapons. And the Falcons have made defensive picks for the last, 3-4 years now, and their defense is not good. And, that's all on the previous regime. Like, hey, that's horrible that you were not able to improve this defense with all those picks. But it's almost like, hey, it might be time to scratch it all away. It might be that time. Let's not leave any residue from the previous regimes who just weren't able to get it done. Maybe you don't, maybe you keep Matt Ryan, but you draft the quarterback that you think will lead you to that promised land. And if Trey Lance is the answer, then you draft, I believe, Trey Lance. You draft them, and maybe you keep him a year under Matt Ryan's wing. And if Matt Ryan doesn't like it, then you have to take a look at that and say, hey, maybe it's time to, put him on the trade block and see what we can get back. Maybe we can get some offensive linemen back. Maybe we can get some defensive players back. Like, you can do a little bit of both, right? You draft the quarterback and then you trade Matt and get some offensive linemen or defensive players. I know it might not be the popular opinion, but maybe you look into Julio Jones. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it, but this game is not about emotions. It's about taking out those emotions. It's just saying, the player for who he is and what he can contribute to you now, right? Like, there was an argument. I'm a big Kobe fan, and I remember, when they gave him that extension for 2 years, $24 million, people were like, yeah, he deserves it for everything that he's done. And, he's the best player in the game or was the best player in the game. And I heard, someone say, but it's not about that. It's about what he can do for you now. It's not about everything that he's done for you in the past. Like, yeah, he's been great in the past. He's been the best. But now, if you're used to averaging 28 points a game and now you're averaging 20 points a game, 19 points a game, then that's what you're worth. And same thing with Matt Ryan. Like, it's not like he's declined, but apart from that amazing year with Shanahan, then, he's a tweener. He's right there. And as soon as he starts to decline, he's going to become a regular old Joe. That's just my opinion, guys. I think they should draft a quarterback if they really feel like it. If they feel like Trey Lance could become an elite quarterback, then I say you do it. Because the kid can play. He has a strong arm, and he's mobile. And that'll cure a little bit of that offensive lineman, failures on our side, and he can move around and make things happen. So that's what I would do. I would like to hear your guys' opinion on it. If you guys comment down below, that'd be great. And yeah, let's just talk about sports. So if you're not subscribed already, I would love for you to subscribe. I appreciate